Hey, ladies. Hey, hey, hey. So sorry for my delay. I was having technical struggles. Technology has not been my friend today. All right. I'm excited. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Da-da-da. Da-da-da-da. All right. We'll see how long I can last outside. It's getting very windy. If, thank you, Jenny. I love my Baby Yoda shirt. My husband, who you guys met last week, he calls me Yoda. He called me that, like, I don't know. We've been together 30 years this year. It'll be 30 years. And um I think he started calling me that like 5 years into being together. And I was like so offended. I was like, why are you calling me Yoda? He goes, because you're short and frustratingly wise. And I was like, I was like, okay, I'll take it. I'll totally take it. Take it. Yep. So call me Yoda. Actually, that's my handle on Venmo. Call me Yoda. Oh, all right, all right. How's everybody doing? Mm. I take calls where I get to, enrollment calls where I get to see if someone's a good fit for the program and all that good stuff. And one of the things I love doing on my enrollment calls is sharing about how amazingly you guys show up for one another. It is such a unique space that you guys all partner in helping create. It's just so powerful. I love the way you show up for each other in the chat. I love the way you show up for one another in the Facebook group. It's just so good. So, so good. I'm really proud of you. I'm proud to be part of this group. Well, let me take a list here really quickly of who is getting coached. Thank you, Maddie. Maddie, do you want to come on and give the little spiels?
Sure. Hello. Hi. Welcome to Melanie's call. And for showing up. I'm excited to be here. Yeah, so some housekeeping for tonight. If you have been coached within the last 3 times within any group coaching call, there's just an ask of you that you maybe like sit back and receive while other women get to be coached. But also if you don't get coached tonight, whatever like feels like your story as well and you can resonate it, there's a lot of just like permission to lean into that and yeah, just enjoy tonight. And yeah, so that's all I have. And yeah, I'll be in the chat and I'm excited to get to learn from Melanie too. So yeah.
Yeah. Maddie's a champion. She's amazing. Amazing, amazing. So glad she's part of this team and doing support coach role. It's so exciting. Um, all right, let's see. Let's see what Jesus wants to do. I love waiting on the Lord. We're just going to enter into some time of just turning our attention on Him. I want you to put in the chat what you need prayer for. Make your prayer requests known in the chat. We're just going to take some time. Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Lord, for every request. They're not just random words in a chat, but they are requests made known to you. Thank you, Jesus. Just want everybody to kind of take a deep breath in, hold for 4, let out for 7. I saw that someone's struggling with calming down. If anybody's struggling calming down, 2 hands, one on your heart, one on your stomach, connect. I am safe here. The Lord is with me. This is a safe space. I am worthy of this time. I am worthy of this attention. I am worthy of taking the space needed. I matter to God. I matter to myself. And for those of you who are still learning that, I'm learning to matter to myself. I'm learning how I matter to God. It's okay to not be okay. It's okay to not be okay. Performance, we don't need you in this space. We don't need you in this space. There's no performing necessary here. That part needs to just go away. I invite unconditional love to permeate every cell of your being. Unconditional love to come into your thoughts, to wreck up your belief systems that say you're not enough, or you're bad, or you're not good, or you're too much. I invite unconditional love to be your peace. For those struggling with thoughts, just put your hands on your head. Be like, brain, mind, I thank you for your efforts, but you're not needed right now. You can rest. You can rest. I call forth my spirit to take preeminence in this moment. I call forth my spirit to take preeminence and foremost place in this time. Heart, speak. Speak the answers that only you have. Heart, I give you permission to share your truth, to share your thoughts, to share what's locked up inside that I have yet to hear. Holy Spirit, I just thank you right now that you go to each and every home in the name of Jesus, whether on this call live or on this call recorded, that in the name of Jesus, Holy Spirit is activated and moving already. I'm just agreeing with what he's already doing. We're not asking for him to come like he's not there. We're just acknowledging that he's come. You've never been left. You've never been forsaken. Lord, let that truth be so strong throughout this call. Open up your hands. God, I receive all that you have to give me. the wisdom, the clarity, and the help. But not just that. I receive the goodness of who you say I am, that preciousness of getting to be in your presence, the love that you have for me that I'm supposed to also have for myself as a creation of Christ. I am a story of your heart. I am an expression of the Most High God in the earth. What? I am an expression of the Most High God in the earth. Wow. Crazy. Yes, yes, you are. You are an expression of the Most High God in the earth. Breath if you need it. Your heart is good. It is not wicked. Out of your heart flow the issues of life. Why would God put that there if it was bad? Why would He tell you to guard something? Guard your heart with all diligence, for out of it flow the issues of life. Why would God tell you that if it was bad? Why would He use it to talk to you if it was bad? It's not bad. Religion has tried to tell you it's bad. It's not bad. That's false. Yes, the Bible does share a scripture where it says the heart is wicked. Who can know it? But that is a scripture describing a specific man with a specific heart condition. That is not a label for all mankind. So, heart, I remove off of you all the times that I called you wicked. Heart, I remove off of you all the times that I said you're worthless and you're stupid and you're not trustworthy. Heart, I remove off of you all the labels where I agreed with other people that said you weren't good. God says I'm supposed to guard you. I take my stand as the guard of my heart. I take responsibility now in Jesus' name. I want you to notice how you're feeling in your body, how you're feeling in your heart, how you're feeling in your mind. Just notice, no judgment. Be connected to yourself. Your worth, connection. If you can't connect to yourself, how do you expect other people to connect to you? Your worth, you connecting to you. You have a lot of wisdom inside of you. You have a lot of care and a lot of love to give. Give it to yourself as well. I want to just do an experiment. For those of you that put something in the chat that maybe you needed an answer for, or you have some confusion on, or you need clarity, from a space of believing your heart has it, like your heart knows things that your brain cannot. From that space, I want you to ask your heart, what can I do about this? Or what is the why? Just ask your heart a question around that thing. See if you get an answer. You might get one. For those who missed it, you're just asking your heart if there was a prayer request you had, asking your heart a question around that prayer request. See if you get an answer or some insight. Okay. Thank you, Lord. For every non-answer there was, we just stick it on your shelf and trust you, knowing that you care. We will cast our cares on you, knowing that you care for us. We won't lean in our own understanding, but we're going to lean into you. I thank you, God, that you're working out all things for the good of those who love you. In Jesus' name. Okay, I just want to share. Well, let me wait. I'm gonna wait and share that. Let's have our first caller. Caller, Becca. Hello, Rebecca. How's it going? Do you like my pen? It's my pen phone.
I love it. I feel like I'm a contestant on the show.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. How are you?
I'm okay. At the moment, I actually have a lot of anxiety in my body, and I think it's because of what my question is. So I really appreciated that prayer that centered me somewhat.
Awesome.
Can
I ask you a question before you give your question?
Yeah.
How do you view anxiety?
Do
you mind if I snack?
Not at all. Please snack. I view anxiety as the ruiner of my whole life. Yeah. It feels like the thing that has gotten in the way of all the things that I want to do. And I'm only just learning to have compassion and not blame my body, I think. But yeah.
I would love to see you change your view of anxiety.
Okay.
And here's why. Anxiety is, so the chemical, when your brain gets anxious or when you get anxious in your body, the chemical that washes over your brain when that happens is the same chemical as excitement. And so the thing about that is that I think that like, and let me reiterate this, it's essentially the same chemical. I think there's like one little thing that's off that makes it tiny bit different, but it's essentially, according to science, the same chemical. So when we get excited, what's the difference between excitement and anxiety, right? It's the way we feel or think about anxiety, right? So anxiety, if I'm leaning over a cliff, I should feel a little anxious about the possibility of falling, right? That will keep me safe. That's a good thing. If I am about to go stand in front of 500 people and give a speech, I might have some anxiety about that, but still do my speech, right? I might have a really big test coming up that's really important, and so I have a little anxiety over it because I want to do well, right? So anxiety is something that actually, if we can change the way we think about it, it might actually change how we interact with anxiety, because maybe it's just trying to create movement, right? Move away from the cliff, right? Move toward your studies, like learn more so that you can pass that test, right? Whatever kind of movement I would need before a speaking gig, where I would be like, okay, I got this, and use that anxiety as excitement or as like motivation to go after it and do a good job. So that's one thing. I'd love everyone to change how they view anxiety. Now, I don't want to take away from the fact, though, that anxiety can become disordered, and comes out of order, right? Like of its original creation. So it can get out of alignment, it can get disordered. And a couple ways that happens is, one is you view yourself in a dangerous situation when you're actually not, right? And so that's one of the ways that anxiety can become disordered. Now, the best way to go after that is very simple but not easy. Simple but not easy, which is every anxious thought you have about danger, when you assess and you see that you're actually safe, you need to come up with safety, perceived safety, right? Because anxiety can be perceived danger. It's not real, right? If I asked everyone right now, are you safe? If I left you to think about it for too long, you could probably come up with ways that you're not safe. Because your brain's going to be like, well, let me think about it. Let me find all the ways that we are potentially not safe. And so, so yes, coming out of that disorder is just reconnecting to safety and envisioning safety, right? Because your brain doesn't know the difference of an imagined safety and a real one.
Yeah.
So there's my little sorry, I just went off on a tangent, but tell me your question now.
No, that's actually, it's so funny because that's exactly it. Like, I am recognizing how, so doing the program has helped me to understand the narrative of my life in a new way and realize that I experienced trauma as a child. And I'm becoming extremely aware of the dissociation that I live in. And I'm starting to recognize that I actually don't ever feel safe. Like, I feel safe none of the time. And I'm so frustrated by it now that I'm aware of it. Because even at work, I have these moments where I can be present, like tiny little moments, but I feel so unsafe even in those moments that I like willingly jump right back into dissociation because I just can't handle it. Like, it will mean I need to leave the building, and I can't do that. I have my job and I need to teach students how to, learn things. So I feel frustrated by that. And that idea of perceived safety, like how to come up with recognizing the safety, feels like a really helpful thing. I think the question off of this question is, I'm realizing that a lot of the dissociation is because I don't really know. Okay, let me frame it this way. I had a friend ask me the other day, like, when you think about your adulthood, how do you perceive it? And I was like, I actually partly feel like I don't even know that it happened, because I feel so stuck in like these childhood things. It's like, oh wait, I already went to college. I already have a job. I'm a grown-up. Like, what happened? So I feel like this inability to integrate the past and the present. And I know I've been reading, I think it's Walker's book, CPTSD. It's so good and it's so helping me. And it's like giving me context for everything, but I just feel super stuck in the dissociation and this feeling unsafe right now. So yeah. I guess my question is like, are there other ways for me to think about this? What else can I do? Is there something I'm not doing that will help me integrate the past better into the present? Help.
You're doing so good. Yes, you are. So I've had those things where I spent, I don't know, like 16 years walking around feeling like I was 16. There's those spaces of arrested development, right? And so for me, I had that space where the Lord grew me up really quickly. I had an encounter with him where all of a sudden after that encounter, I felt, oh, I feel like my adult self. This is nice. But I want to address, before we go into that, I do want to address you're a teacher, right?
Yeah.
And so under this perceived danger thing versus real safety, I want to point out that you're in a COVID world. Okay. And that goes for everybody. If you're not feeling safe, right? You're in a COVID world. Really let that, take that in. I know we've gotten used to some things, but our brain doesn't see faces. It sees masks, right? This is what it sees. It's like, and when someone's covered, that communicates you're hiding something, right? This is why, they talk about the science of doing conflict with people, where you would come and you would sit with your hands, do you know where the hands up signal came from? Look, I have no weapons, right? And so when we're hiding our hands back in the old day, that meant you could have a knife, right? You can have a gun. And so this showed, look, I have no weapons. My friend who does conflict resolution with people and businesses and all that stuff, he will go and do conflict, and he makes them stand with their hands open, not stand, but sit with their hands open like this, showing look, I have no weapons. My heart is open. My mind is open to what you have to say. I have no weapons. So in this COVID world, I'm thinking about that, where we co-regulate through the face. This is how we know if we're okay with one another. And if it's hiding, how do you know that? So some of this lack of safety you're feeling,
Yeah.
it's just the way it is, right? And you can remind your brain, get into safety, the safety mindset of okay, I'm the teacher in this classroom. I'm in charge wherever it happens, right? I'm in the break room. I'm a teacher in the break room. These are my comrades. They're my coworkers. I am safe. Whatever thing you need to tell your nervous system to remind it that it's safe, you tell it that. So just keep that in mind. Some of this is that. To the other part about growing up. There's so many. So I'm not a therapist. I don't know what a therapist would tell you, because I've not done this kind of work with a therapist, and I'm sure there's more than one way to skin a cat. But that's a terrible saying. Why did I say that? That's a terrible saying. I would not want anybody to skin my cat. Why would we say that? Does somebody want to look that up and find out the origin of that for me? Because that's terrible. Okay. Sorry. I'm so sorry. I love my cat. I would never want to skin it. Anyway. So there's many ways to attack things. And so with growing yourself up, what I have found in the Lord is going back to everybody, let's just do this right now. Becca, you do it. You'll be the person. Let's just do this right now. See where the Lord takes it. Okay, I want you to ask yourself, and just intuitively, right? Whatever comes, you trust. How old do I feel?
How old do I feel? 7?
7. What happened when you were 7?
What happened when I was 7? It was just after my brother had started having seizures. It was a little bit after that.
Okay.
And I think my parents were probably starting to have issues then.
Okay. Yep. I just want you to sit with this on purpose. Anytime I'm quiet, it's on purpose, guys. Can you connect to her at all? Can you see her?
Yeah, I think so.
What do you sense, see, feel, understand?
I've got this memory that's been coming up a lot in the last couple months of me in the kitchen trying to clean up the dinner table and prove that I was making things easier.
Mm. Is that something you still do, trying to prove that you're making things easier?
Yeah, all the time, 100%. Yeah. I
I
feel
want
like
you, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I feel like I have a different sense though tonight in that memory of like how desperate she was to make sure that things were like okay around
Yeah.
her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I want to invite somebody into this memory to help her in her her desperation. Who do you want to invite in? Do you want to invite yourself, your adult self, or do you want to invite the Lord?
The Lord.
Okay. So invite Jesus into that moment to help her in her desperation.
Yeah. It's kind of funny. I feel like I feel like he's excited to get in that moment with me.
Beautiful.
And like take all the plates out of my hands and put them back on the table and like a little bit like we don't really need to do this right now. But like he's been waiting a really long time to get back there and take that out of my hands.
Mm.
That feels really sweet.
And what is her reaction to this?
She's okay with it because she doesn't have this whole thing built up about how that's who she is and that's her life. And she's just trusting him with that she doesn't have to.
Beautiful. So she's willing to go along with his suggestions.
Yeah.
How do you feel about it all?
Um, I feel happy that he's happy about it, but I feel like anxiety in my body right now
Uh-huh.
about like reconstructing who I am.
Yeah.
Like I started to feel like nauseous when I started thinking about that.
Give me more details on what reconstructing how you are is. What's that mean?
Uh, if I'm not that person, like the
Mm.
one who comes in and makes the things okay and settles everyone down and carries the weight of things, like I don't know what place I have, and I don't know who I am or what my role is there.
Mm-hmm. So you found safety in your roles with people.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Becca, I'm so sorry you weren't taught how to do relationship outside of what you can perform and do for people. I'm so sorry that it required you doing something to show someone your worth, that relationships were transactional, and it was like bank accounts you were trying to constantly put deposits into. And then when you went to get a return on them, it was like the bank robber came and robbed all your money. That is so hard.
Yeah, I feel like that image is like it. It's like, and I don't have anything left to draw on. Like,
Yeah.
I just don't have anything else to put into anybody else. I can't imagine. I can't imagine like even having a boyfriend and having to like put like these are the things I want. I want connection. I want family. I want, but I just like I've got nothing else of myself to give. I already gave it all and I didn't get any of it back. And I just don't have anything left to offer to anybody.
Yeah. Yeah. Here's what I want to see. Can you connect to your little self who is with the Lord now?
Mm-hmm.
See if she has anything she wants to tell you about this or show you.
I don't know fully what to like how to understand this, but I feel like she's like wants to show me something she's got like behind her back, like she's been saving things.
Okay, what is it? I'm excited.
I'm not sure. Like she's been putting little things aside that she like maybe it's even just that there is still stuff there to give, like she's been saving parts of herself somehow. I, I don't know. They don't seem like an actual thing to me. They just seem more like when a little kid grabs you and wants to show you what they've got like hidden in a little space, and it's obviously really special to her because she's super excited about it. But
Yeah.
there's like,
Ask the Lord, what is it?
Lord, what is it? Maybe it's like the knowledge of who she is and her own worth and like the love that she has for herself that
Yeah.
she hasn't really shared with people but is definitely there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you say the source, there's a source yet to be had for you in connecting back to your childlikeness, to connect you to hope, and a child who is following the Lord, not operating out of desperation
Yeah.
to be accepted and show and to show everyone how good she is, but a child that is connected to the Lord and knows she's good because God says she's good.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a hope. There's deposits that get to be made in you when you connect back to a childlikeness and a joy.
Yeah.
Does that feel true?
yeah, it feels like I've had this feeling a few times when connecting with that little self of like, oh, I really do like you so much. Like I I'm excited for you for life and I think you're great and you're going to be great and yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's a space there to connect to not your role, right? Not what you can do, but who you are. When I say childlikeness, what comes to mind?
Um like play without exhaustion. Not feeling the tired body, but like when you watch kids and they're just running around and they just keep running, like that to me is like energy and joy and play and the lightness of not worrying about everything and not
Right.
presenting a certain way.
Because they're connected and doing things they love that are fun to them, right? It's like when you were talking, it's like the kids that want to swim so bad and they will go in freezing cold water. It'll be 36-degree water and they're like, I'm fine. And their lips are blue. And they're like, it's fine. It's this sense of like connecting to something because you want to do it so bad because it's going to bring you joy. I love swimming. I want to swim so bad. I don't care if I'm a freeze. And so like that's what I was thinking when you were talking about that. Is there anything that comes up right away for you that you know would bring you joy like that? Or carefreeness?
Not having to go to work. There is something related to work actually that I feel like the Lord is highlighting to me there. But I don't know, like I think no, and I feel like maybe that's something I need to get at more.
Mm-hmm.
I've lost play. Yeah.
Your connection to that. And what's great is if you can't, you don't have to wait till you find something to connect to. You can start trying things.
Mhm.
See what sparks it for you.
Mhm.
If we wait to know it ahead of time, sometimes we will never know it.
Yeah.
So your brain that wants safety and to figure it out, you're going to have to fight against that.
Yeah.
Take a dance class, take a yoga class. I mean, you might already do those things. I don't know, but painting, art, some form of art. Go out and play in the dirt.
The dance resonates. I've been wanting to do that again for years. I used to do that. So, yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. How are you feeling about, like, where's your anxiety right now in your body?
It's not, and I love that. Yeah.
Yes.
It was like somewhere in the yeah. I recognized that it was just like
Uh-huh.
so good.
A little part of you that's like, hey, you can you invite Jesus into this moment? And then I got something to show you.
Yeah. Totally.
That's
So
great.
yeah.
I love it.
So good.
So good.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. That was fun.
It's great.
It was fun. All right. Rebecca, you're next.
All right, I think that's me. Is it too dark over here?
I saw your hand.
All right.
You're fine.
Okay, I was gonna say the lighting really sucks, but all right. To the woman who's just on, Becca, great name, by the way. All right, so this is my first time being coached.
Welcome.
And yes. And so my questions are going to be primarily around like security and boundaries.
Okay.
And I'm trying to navigate this accurately with I guess people who are trying to like pursue me romantically. Sometimes I feel really bad for them. So I set a lot of boundaries in place, and I'm very upfront in letting people know that I'm not going to invest if I don't feel that way, and I'm very formal about my time and sharing, especially with my time and letting people in. And I find myself thinking that if I let my guard down to let this person either just have a friendship or be a little bit more friendly than I would normally let anyone, that I'm sacrificing my peace for kind of tasting to see if this is who my future self would be or if it's not. I never pictured myself married. That's why I don't date. So I feel like people who are trying to say, hey, just give it a shot. I'm like, I can give things a shot, but these are boundaries that I'm not going to that I'm not going to just put down, and I'm also not going to share why I have them. They're just like really personal with things that I've gone through just as a child and an adult with men, that I'm not comfortable sharing that with anyone right now, and I don't like being forced to do that. So how do I know if I'm like trying to, I guess I do know when, but how do I navigate through this accurately? I picture what my future self is, and I don't want to put pressure on God saying, Lord, you tell me if I should be dating or if I should be married, right? I would just ask my heart and say, is this something that you're willing to pursue and go through? And I don't think I'm there yet. I don't think I've really given myself time to heal from all of the other things that I've gone through with people.
Right. Well, I'm not about forcing people to do anything, if including ourselves, right? And so I'm sure the people who are like, hey, just give it a try, they're just trying to help you. They just want to love you, right? And get you connected to things that they feel are going to bring joy to your life. But what I was aware of when you were talking was just your high need for safety, right? And everybody has a need for safety. I have a need for safety, right? But on your need for safety, there's a giant question mark.
Okay.
So, whereas, does that make sense?
Yeah, I follow you.
So, even in your use of the word accurately, what that tells me a whole bunch, like about you wanting things to be specific so that you can be safe. For you to accurately do it is a means of you to be able to control the variables and the scenarios so that you know what's going to happen and you can be safe.
Yeah.
Totally okay. The struggle with that is control's an illusion. Right? And this is why. Control's an illusion because we can do all the do's and have all the boundaries and require the things and all the stuff, right? And we still have no control on how other people are going to react to that, respond to that, act in that. So even in all of that, we still don't have total control because people have free will and they can do what they want. We can't control what they think, what they feel, or how they respond. So in your wanting accuracy, what is your goal?
I guess sometimes I'll be looking for just like ship, but if someone has their heart already invested in something else, even though they say, hey, I'm okay with being friends, at some point they overstep their boundary. They've noticed that they've done that, and I let them know, like, hey, this is the reason why I don't like to hang out with you, in a sense, because I know you're trying to like build a friendship and you want time, you want to hang out, but as soon as you cross this boundary, I go all the way back, and I behave just as if I was in certain scenarios that I'm not willing to open up and share that with you. And so it takes me a few minutes, and I have to let you leave, and then I have to regain and put this into words on why I keep saying no. And sometimes I don't know it. I want to be able to see situations for what they are and not necessarily just from what I've been through, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I want to live in the reality of it, and I don't want to judge this person by everything else, but I also don't want to neglect everything else that happened and pretend like you don't need anything. It's like everything is okay, you know?
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. When you say crossing boundaries, because, right, like, I guess what I want to figure out is, are your boundaries really tight and really strict? Like, are they boundaries that's going to make it hard for anybody to stick to?
I would say certain ones are. So when it comes to like hanging out, if it's someone that I know that we are like like this is my friend, this is my buddy, I have no problem in like touching, or you know, you give a fist bump, a high five, you're tapping people. I'm cool with that. But for somebody that I know that I've that you don't just want to be friends, the moment that you touch me, I have a problem with that. Or if you get too comfortable thinking that everything that's mine is yours. I know where that comes from. I know where that stems from. And I'm not willing to share that with this person. But it's those things that I can't. It makes that part hard. And I get it for the other person because they're like confused.
Totally.
But I can't.
Right.
Yeah.
You're not responsible. I mean, kindness, yes, right? Communication, absolutely. Sharing your needs, 100%, but you are not responsible for altering things for the sake of comfort for another person or for them to understand. So if you're not ready to share things to bring clarity to them, you don't owe them that. You don't owe anybody that. You don't even have to share here, you know? So in this, what I want to know is, what would you like from me?
I guess, what are some practical things that I can do that would help me better live in the reality than in just kind of going back, shutting down, and reliving those other memories?
Tell me this first, what kind of work have you done up to this point concerning those memories that are triggering?
I want to say that I can visit them in my mind. But I have a hard time sometimes, like, it's rewiring those memories of saying what I know I should probably be saying. But they're not things that I've actually like just shared out loud. It's just like that stuff that's in the closet that you're like, I can grow and be mature about how I view it and see it, but I just don't let them go, I guess.
Is there any place that what would happen if it all went away?
If it all went away?
Yeah, if Jesus came, wiped it all clean, what would happen to you as a person?
I guess I wrapped a lot of my identity around it, so then I wouldn't know who I am.
That's the problem. That's where the issue's at right there. So the work is what's it look like for you to unwrap your identity from this? Because it's not who you are. Right? Girl, I am so proud of you for your honesty.
All right.
I was feeling that, and I'm glad you said it and I didn't have to.
So
What?
it's much better that way, right?
It's much better that way. But my next question is this. Do you, even, Rebecca, you can stay exactly like you are, and God will still love you. God will still visit you, like anything you want. Like he is going to keep pouring himself out on you. There's no restriction here. The only restriction and limits are what you want to put on yourself. And so my question is, do you want to stay wrapped up in this, in that way where it's your identity?
If I think of it as, do I want to stay stuck or do I want to be free? I would choose to be free. But if I think about it as if, do I really want to let this go? Yeah, that's the hard thing. I don't know, like, what am I so hesitant about giving it up? I think it's that illusion that this is actually like, it's comforting, or it made you something, like it gave you a self-value or worth, which is so twisted because that it's taking away your worth. It's not giving you anything. So that's one lie. Yeah.
It's also protective, right? Like having this thing that happened in the past, or these things that happened in the past, has caused you to need to have certain boundaries, which keep you safe, but also keep you limited. Also limits access that other people have to you. And if people have limited access to you, then you can control the level of pain that they cause you.
Agreed.
So that safety component is there too. Your heart just needs to know it's gonna, like, there's an opportunity to be safe and still be seen, to be safe and still be reachable by people, and that people would have access to you and you can still have a voice to tell them no. Right? Like, just because somebody gets access doesn't mean they get all access.
True.
And even, sorry, I sat outside but it's windy, so now whatever's in the air is starting to irritate me. I apologize.
It's all good.
But just to give a scenario, of just because someone has access doesn't mean all access. My marriage, right? That's a level of access that my husband and I have toward one another. But it doesn't take away the need for respect, consideration. Like, just because we're married doesn't mean, all boundaries are out. It's all access all the time. There's still a person's heart and a person's needs involved and things to consider. And so, people in marriage have to do that too. So it's not all access all the time. There's a way to do life with people where they have access to you and you have access to them, but you can still have boundaries and have safety in relationships. And you probably never seen that. You probably had to be the biggest person in your world. You probably had to protect yourself. That's why you're
Yeah, like nobody was watching out for these things. Nobody expected going to do that.
Right.
So when some of these things would happen and I have to go back into a room after and I'm seeing all these adults in the room and I'm like, you guys have no clue. And they literally have no clue. Like they can't read it off of your face. They can't see. They don't get it at all. And so I can't depend on other people to either help me after something has happened. I'm going to be the one that's going to be sticking with me. So if I'm willing to do that, then hey, but I'm not.
Do you want to do some? Can I take some time to validate your heart?
Sure.
Rebecca, baby girl, you deserved protection. You deserved someone paying attention. That when you walked in the room, there was a caregiver, an adult, a mother, a father, someone who was so in tune with you that they saw it. They saw the look on your face and they knew something wasn't okay. That's the level of attention you deserve. That's the level of care you deserve. You deserve to be seen and known so well by an adult that it would create safety, that you could freely be who you are without fear, without worry. Baby girl, I'm so sorry that's not what you got. That wasn't how it was intended. You were robbed. The adults in your life did not serve you well, and I'm so sorry. I am so sorry that you were overlooked, that your pain wasn't seen, and that you had to suffer in silence. It's okay to not be okay. And darling, I do not need you to fix it. I don't need you to do it different. You want to keep going this way? I will not judge you. I will not label you. I will not consider you not doing it right. Like, you do what you need to do. Just don't stop letting the Lord come. I'm so sorry for all the places of abandonment that you feel, even by God. You are worthy. You are lovable. Your brain has done a good job keeping you safe. Your nervous system has done a good job keeping you safe. It's been working overtime. You've been in hypervigilance and it's exhausting. It's okay to rest. Baby girl, find moments of rest. Let your brain go in hyperdrive, envisioning freedom. What does freedom look like? What would it feel like? Go on journeys with God to discover new possibilities. Go there in the spirit. Go there in your thoughts. Go there in your mind. Envision with God. Dream with God. When you're ready, you want to take your steps. A smart woman. Sorry you've been left so alone for so long. I speak peace over you. peace and more peace, like waves over your brain. That as much as the chemicals of safety have watched your brain, that right now, God washes your mind with peace. Connect with peace. What does that feel like? What does peace feel like? What does it feel like in your body? What does it feel like in your jaw? Like pay attention to parts of your body when peace comes. Really give space and attention to it. Peace wants to be your friend. Go ahead, take a breath if you already have it. Just a deep breath in. How you feeling, Rebecca?
I'm doing good. Yeah.
I mean, it's impressive that you're letting me in. It's impressive that you're giving me a shot.
You really think so?
I do. I do. Just from your short story that you've told me, I can tell this is a big deal.
Yeah.
So thank you for trusting me.
Thanks for listening.
And I want to cry now. I am honored. I'm honored. I'm glad you're here, Rebecca.
Me too. I feel good. Thank you.
Good. All right. Eliza, is that how you say your name? Is or Alicia?
Yes.
Eliza? Which one?
Eliza.
Eliza. There we go. Okay.
The first one. Eliza.
Hi, Eliza.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay. Just because I'm in my car and it was a little bit, the connection was bad. Oh, sorry.
No problem.
Okay. So I'm going to try to explain. My mind's kind of like this. So it might come like as I explain, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think what I would love help with is like, maybe I'll explain what's happening and then after kind of like what I would love help with. Okay, so recently I live with 3 other girls and I like am always doing like a lot of things, like making myself really busy. And some days like they ask me to hang out and it's like really like right when they ask me to hang out, I get angry and it's like this anger that's like protective, and that's not like who I am. Like I love to hang out with people and it's like no, I have to get everything done in order to hang out. And then the same thing that happens with like one of the girls in the house is like one of my best friends, and when she asks like, are you okay or how's your day, it's almost like sometimes I'm like, oh, I had a really bad day, and I'll explain to her, and other times it's like the angry thing again where it's almost like why do you need to know? Why are you asking? If I'm not okay, then like what does that mean for you? And I don't know why, and it's only like been this year that it's happened. That hasn't like it's been a new thing, but the protective thing of like staying in to get things done, not hanging out, like making myself like a hermit has been a constant theme like past a couple years. The But it's those two things together that's gotten to a point where it's like super frustrating, because I've tried to have encounters with myself with like, okay, like let's think back, like when was the last time that you felt this? And I don't know. Like I can't understand where this came from, of like needing to protect myself and like wanting to get everything done before I can hang out, and the anger, I don't understand that.
Okay, so really quick,
Yeah. Yeah.
do you feel mad at all right now?
Yeah. Still from today, resonating.
Great. Where do you feel that?
In all chest, shoulders, and it's like stress too. It's like a stress anger.
Mm-hmm.
Like I could like go running to run it off because it's too much.
Totally. I've done that. I wonder if you need more of a somatic experience, right? Like you're doing all head work, heart work. It sounds like you need to do body work.
Okay, what does that mean?
I have no idea. I'm just kidding.
Oh.
Oh man. It can mean a lot of things. That's the truth. And so but I wanna try something right now if you want to try something.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Okay. So you can feel it in your body, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want you to kind of like settle in, get relaxed.
Okay.
And I want you to think about this to where you feel it in your body at like a level 7. Can you do that?
Yeah.
Focus on it, feel it, pay attention to it in your body. But get it to a level 7 where you're focusing on it enough. And then I want you to just sit with that. Focus on that, sit with it, and let whatever comes come.
Okay.
Tell me.
This is, I don't know how this, I mean, like relates, but
And I want
I
you
thought,
to do this for me. I want you to go back to that connected place
uh-huh.
and share from that connected place. Like stay there because more might come.
Mm-hmm.
So just like stay connected to it and then just go ahead and share with me from that place.
Okay. I thought about my dad, which was the first thing that came.
Okay.
Which is like kind of, I don't know, it doesn't like, he doesn't make me angry, but he had a lot of anger like when I was young.
Mhm.
But that's like, I don't know why that's what the first thing that came to mind. And it wasn't like he had a lot of anger and he just didn't share it. That's kind of, I don't know, that's what came.
So dad had anger that he took out on people and you saw that, or did he take it out on you? Who did it take it out on?
My mom and my brother,
Mhm.
and me, like not so much, but he just was like super, like I was like walking on eggshells all the time because I didn't know if he was going to be, even when you're talking like earlier, I was like expecting you to like answer sharply, but that's how my dad was. And I say was because he's like gotten better, but it's so, he would do that with me, just like everything, there's no patience for anything.
Yeah. So this is where I think I would love for you to read the book called Body Keeps the Score.
Okay.
Have you heard that book in the past calls or seen women talk about it?
No.
So it's called Body Keeps the Score by Bessel Vander something. And oh, look. Lindsay is holding it up. It's the blue book she's holding up.
Okay.
Lindsay, will you type the author's name in there in the chat for us? I'd love for you to read that. I want you to see how your body is part of this process for you in processing your trauma. Because what Bessel shares is that the body is the silent witness to the crime. And so there's a lot of stuff that I think maybe as a youth you were more connected to your body. And so you have more body awareness when those things happen than you do like words or feelings to it. So you're going to first have that body response, and then second and third you'll have the other responses to it. Like just now you connected to your body, right? And it opened up for you to have words and feelings to share. What are your thoughts so far?
I think I'm still trying to understand it.
Okay. That's why I want you to read that book. It's going to be very helpful. But you watched Dad have anger issues. This was your example, right? And so as you're doing life in your house, right, with roommates, it's like family. So you're redoing what you saw growing up. It feels like it can't be that simple, but it actually is. We are oftentimes in our lives reenacting what we saw growing up as a kid, or we're reenacting it in hopes to heal it, right? Like that's why we attract men like our fathers, or our brother, whoever the broken relationship is with as a kid. We're often trying to repeat those patterns by getting a redo because we didn't get a chance to fix it as a kid. Is that what questions do you have? Do you have any like thoughts at this point?
So what am I trying to redo?
So it could be as simple as you reenacting how you saw it happening growing up, right? Just anger in, anger out. What you witnessed, that's how you were taught. Also, anger is power. So when you feel powerless, you can grab for anger because you, as a child, saw that that's how Daddy operated in power and authority. And so that's another way. Anger also is through the example that you saw, it's like how you do relationship in the home, right? And there's parts of you that are angry, like for real. This isn't just about like you being a parrot, right? Where like a parrot gets told, say mommy, say good boy. And there's like, good boy. But, there's no connection really. It's just parroting back a word that he heard, right? But for you as a little girl witnessing that anger in your dad also have anger about that wants to be processed. It wants to come out. And so I think the doorway for you to this process with encounters and stuff is in your body. It's through your body. Yeah.
Okay. And that book will help with the body.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's really good. You can also, if you want to not wait for a book, like let's say if you don't have money to buy it right now, or you need to wait for any reason, YouTube it. Just look up Bessel Vander Kolk and Body Keeps the Score. There'll probably be lots of therapists that go on there and share about it.
Okay.
Yeah, Lindsay can type the title and the author all together for you guys again. How does that feel like answers to you?
Yeah, I think the powerless thing makes like a lot of sense to me. Just because that's like right now, I'm literally like, it's funny, I'm like living on a prayer. Like, I don't have anything that's secure, foundational, except for my next steps. I'm literally just waiting for God to give them to me. And that makes total sense because that's something like new that I'm doing. It's like I'm not planning like I'm planning, but not how I used to. Like I used to like plan. And that's something he's like working on with me. And that makes a lot of sense that anger is like a control, and that's why how I'm acting.
Yeah.
Because I never used to be an angry person. I was afraid of anger. Like, because my dad, that always turned me off. So it scared me when that's how I've been acting.
You also need to understand that anger is energy, right? And anger, just like we talked about the anxiety, right? It's similar, like it's energy. Anger gets you moving, right? And so when you need to be moving, and so like again, another somatic response. I feel like there's a lot, like for you, I would be doing dancing, I would be doing yoga, I would be doing movement, um, exercise, walks in nature. Um, I think that's super healing for you in this season.
Okay. And then another question, just like that accompanies it. Is there like is there a way I can set a boundary? Because I feel like my friend is really intuitive, like super kind and intuitive, and knows when I'm upset, but I don't like being asked every single day, like, are you upset? Are you okay? It's like, like, why can't I just be upset? And I like to deal with things internally. And then if I can't like figure it out, then I go to someone. And I don't know how to say, hey, I don't need you to ask me. If I'm fine, I'll tell you.
Yeah, it's her trauma response showing up. She needs to know that you're okay so she can be okay.
Yeah.
And I say that because that's my guess, right? Because if it's that much all the time, like, and the way you're describing her, she's probably empathic. And people who I call them feelers, not empaths, but feelers, they are people who they keep their home safe by figuring out if everyone's okay. So they got their gift of empathy and being a feeler through trauma, learning to come into a room and read it really well so that they knew if they were safe. Is mommy okay? Is daddy okay? If they're not, what do I need to do to make them okay? Do I need to run? Do I need to fight, flight, freeze, fawn? Do I need to gush over them and make sure they're okay? Like, it's okay, mommy, it's okay.
Yeah.
That's where those superpowers are forged, is in trauma. And that's okay. But when it's running our life, or it's making us obsess over someone else's feelings or feel responsible for their feelings, then that's where it becomes a problem. And their intuition is not helpful, it's harmful. And so a simple conversation with her would be like, I so appreciate how much you care. I love your gifting. I think it's amazing. But you're not responsible. I want to remind you, you're not responsible for my feelings. And sometimes I feel like with how much you ask me, it feels like you're feeling responsible for my feelings. Is that true? And invite her into, like, don't tell her, like, use I statements. I feel this, I feel that, it seems like, right? And then you invite her into saying if she thinks that's true or not. If she gets offended and she's like, oh, no, that's not true, I just care, and you don't see that I care. Like, if she wants to be like that, be like, fine, that's totally fine. I need to set a boundary if that's okay. I need space to not be okay, because it's okay that I'm not okay. It's also not your job to fix me. And if what you can do for me is, if you see that it seems like I'm not okay, pray for me. Pray for me. And if I want to invite you into a process, I will. but I'm in a season right now where God is calling me to connect to something. Like you can, depending on how much it matters, right? Like don't over
Yeah.
explain yourself for the sake of making someone else feel better about your process. But if you're in relationship with her and it really matters, like you want her to really know your process, then communicating your needs and your process helps her understand.
Yeah. Okay. That's helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right. That was great, Liza. I enjoyed that. Okay. Next is Sharon. Right? Did I get that right?
Hi.
Ah,
Yeah.
yeah, Sharon David. That's right. That's you. That's you.
Yay.
You know who you are.
Yeah, here I am. It's funny. I feel like the girl before me had like a similar start to my question where like I feel like triggered around people who are like, "Hey, let me just get in your space and ask you questions." And but I think that there might be like other stuff going on. So I was thinking about it that like I recently realized that like this problem that I felt like I've had with lying and being a liar is like totally not because I'm an evil bad person. And it's been like a response of protection to like either protect myself from not having to share what I want to share.
Yep.
Or what I don't want to share, or like protecting myself from judgment. And so there's that came up. And then the other thing that came up recently is like I feel really uncomfortable with the word no. Like I hate hearing the word no. I hate saying the word no. I hate the answer no. It's like so uncomfortable. I just like want to escape. And then I was also thinking like, okay, and I don't like to tell people no in any capacity. Like if a guy wants to touch me and I'm like, I'm not comfortable with that, I don't want to say no. And so I just like let things happen. And I've kind of like, I'm at the point where I'm like, okay, Spencer said the other day on the call, like, you think that you have like 1,000 stones to turn, and really it's just like 5 stones and the rest are connected to them. And so I don't know what the actual problem is. Like, I don't know, like, and even as I was leaving to go to this coaching call, I left my house. I was like running out, like not looking at anybody. And my mom is like, "Hey, where are you going?" And I was just like, oh, anger. And I was like, I am going to the store, like, goodbye. And I'm like, why do I do that? Like, why am I lying? Why do I constantly feel like my privacy is being invaded upon? And why do I always feel like it has to go smooth and like I can't say no, and I'm trapped all the time, and it makes relationships uncomfortable. And I know that like healthy people like can say no, and I know that they're okay with it too. So I don't really know what this next step is.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know where to go with it now that I'm like connecting these pieces.
Yeah, totally. I'm so fascinated by your relationship to the word no. Do you have like, what's the earliest you can remember hating that?
Oh, I have never thought about that, but I'm immediately like flooded with hundreds of times my dad said no.
When you needed
Like,
it, yeah.
his default was no
Oh,
every time.
okay.
And it was humiliating.
Oh. Do you want to share about any of that specifically?
Oh, like,
You don't have to. I'm just giving you space if you want to process some of that.
I probably won't go into some of them, but I think like one that feels safe for me to share I like asked my dad for like a swimsuit, and I like was trying it on, and he was like, absolutely not, like no, like, and like, you're hilarious for even asking, like that is so funny.
Mm. So was the judgment always attached to the no? Like a no couldn't just be a no. A no couldn't be a not right now. A no couldn't be a no and here's why. But it's a no tied with judgment, tied with, you don't get to know why. And you just have to take what I'm saying and how I'm saying it. And that feeling sounds like there was a feeling of powerlessness tied to that too, because there was no getting dad off of his no. And once he said no, yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Did you ever make a vow around that?
Yeah, I told myself that my default would be yes.
Interesting. Do you see the connection?
Yeah, in junior high. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah. Junior high. Tell me about that.
I was asking my dad if I could go to church. And he was like, I'm tired. Like, no. And I was just like, in my head, like, you're not doing anything. Like, you can take me to church.
Mm-hmm.
And I just went in my room. And I was just like, this is the most ridiculous, outrageous, ludicrous, selfish, awful, like, way to live for the sake of others.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, do you see? So there's things that happen when we kind of make a decision how not to be or how to be in a reaction to something else or someone else. And it doesn't always, right? Like, I don't want to say it always here. It's not the case. But what it can do when we make vows like that is it can set us up to the dysfunctional side of that thing instead of like learning a healthy way to operate differently than what we're experiencing,
Yeah.
So, and it's interesting, you have an enemy, right? And the enemy wants to take, well, let me share a story. This can be the easiest way I can explain it. So, my mom was an addict all of my life. When I was 17, she died, and complications of drug addiction and getting beat up, a lot of things. Regardless, when my mom would take me, she would drive to bars with me and my sister in the car, and she would leave us in the car and lock us up in there, and we had to wait for hours upon hours upon hours. There's like, sometimes I get triggered, and there's a spot in my road where I'm like, babe, I just feel like that spot's going to trigger me because there's so much traffic there, and I don't like being stuck in the car, like that feeling of getting stuck in the car. So my husband's very kind. He will avoid those things. And then some days I'm like, I feel it, but I'm going to go through that section of the road. I don't care how long I feel stuck. I feel safe in my body. I'm safe here. I'm going to do it. And so I'll do it. Right. So, but anyway, the stuff that I suffered from my mom as an addict, because she was an addict, I I made vows, and I was like, I will never. And I ended up doing all my nevers. And the struggle with that is when you fall into the same patterns of this generational thing that ends up on our parents, right? When we end up falling in their same patterns, then it heaps on us a deeper condemnation. It's like double the struggle, right? Because now we're doing the thing that we said we would never do. Now, in your case, you're not doing the thing, right? Like you're doing opposite of that. But again, it's a heaping a stronger condemnation, right? Because now you're having to lie. Now you're having to say yes to things either through just letting it happen, right? Because of this vow that you made to yourself when you were in junior high. It's like you're driven by this why and this thing that you've never really connected fully to. The good news is you can reverse that. That's the good news. And so, tell me your thoughts on my little side story rant.
Yeah, I definitely don't feel like I've processed that. And like, even as you're talking about like your mom and like the consequences of like being stuck in a car, I'm like flooded with memories of like the consequences and like the suffering that I went through because someone said no. And so there's like levels of pain of like not just humiliation, not just I couldn't get that. It was like, and I was put in dangerous situations and I was in pain and my needs weren't met. Like, and so I can understand the like, I can absolutely connect to no having a different message. That makes a lot of sense. No means it doesn't mean no to me. Like it means like something shameful and humiliating.
Right.
And
Right.
they don't have to say it. Like I can fill in the blank.
Yes. And that's what you do. Yeah.
Yeah.
How are you feeling right now?
I feel like kind of stressed out because that's a whole other area that I have not explored.
Mm-hmm.
And I even like now I'm like putting it all together. Like I read a book about like saying yes because and I loved it. It's like like this is gonna be like my life's mantra, and I'm like blind to all of this.
Your little junior high self's like, yeah! With your Lord of the Flies pitchfork, and you're like,
yeah.
So funny.
And it's like crazy because I'm like worried that the strength of my yes and the pain of all of my yeses is like mirrored in the pain of all of the no's I've experienced. Yeah. And that's like really big and scary.
So do you want to think that way, or do you want to think a different way? Do you want to consider an alternative way to view that?
Yeah.
Because, you know, the thing about our problems is most of the time it's not the problem that's our problem. It's the way we think about and view our problem. That's our problem, right? And so the beautiful thing is God gave us the power to change our thoughts and work with that. So, what is a way that you could think differently about this where your yeses aren't having to be like shamed? Now there's some yeses, right, that need to be buried, that like they need to be set on fire. The yes that allows men to touch you in ways you actually would like to say no to, those yeses need to be set on fire. But there are yeses that don't need to be set on fire. And just because you still had this going on at the same time that you had a yes, doesn't mean all your yeses are bad.
Yeah, so like are you saying like not hating the part of myself that said yes?
Yeah. That part of you needs so much compassion. She was doing what she knew to do with the way she was raised and trying to make a better life for herself. Right? Trying to do it different than how she was shown. without being shown how to do it different. Right?
Yeah.
Everybody let that soak in. You're trying to do different than what you were shown without being shown how to do different. That person deserves respect. That person deserves compassion. That person deserves love, new tools, which you're giving that person those new tools. Like, they don't deserve shame. They don't deserve attitude. God looks at the motives of your heart. That matters a lot. I used to be really good at blaming myself for everything. Like, I blame you mess up, I'd find a way to blame myself. And I remember one time there was a really bad fallout between me and some people that I loved deeply. And I tried to find ways to blame myself. And I told the Lord, oh, I can't find any blood on my hands. And he was like, that's right, because there is none on your hands. I'm not judging how you did it. I'm judging why you did it. And your heart was pure. We can do it all wrong. And we can clean that up and make that right. But God looks at the heart. He sees our pain better than we do. It's why he had to come die for us. Yeah. He's not even judging us like we judge ourselves, because it would be a waste of his cross. It all was judged on the cross.
Yeah. I got like a picture of my nephew like losing his balloon. You know how they blow away when you let go of them?
I hate it. It's the worst.
And then him just being so mad at himself. And I can't even imagine myself or any other adult coming to him and being like, why did you do that?
Right.
It's like, oh, like, I don't want you to be mad at yourself. I
Right.
know you don't have the capacity when you're so excited to keep holding on to a balloon so tight
Exactly.
for hours.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful analogy. Beautiful image. I want you to close your eyes and just sit with that for a minute. Everybody else, I want you to ask God to give you an image. If it's the balloon one, great. Maybe he's going to give you another image of how he's not beating you up over your choice, over what happens. I want you to feel it. I want you to, it's important. Your nervous system, you guys, when you have these aha moments, you have revelations from God, let your body have an experience in it too. Remind your nervous system that there's a God who's more powerful than the danger that we might face. What are you getting?
I feel like the Lord, like, I actually feel like Jesus, which doesn't happen often for me. I feel like he came over and knelt down and just like on his face, I could see his empathy for the pain of like experiencing now. And then his empathy for like my desire for good things and like how it's being played out. That like I didn't vow to a yes to break relationship with people. And I didn't vow to a yes to lie or to hurt anybody.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
Or even him, like for him to look at me and say like, I know you love me. You don't have to doubt that like these sins on the surface mean that you don't love me. Like,
Yeah.
I actually know you love me and that this has nothing to do with our connection.
Are you seeing yourself differently right now?
Yeah.
It's beautiful. That's your homework. I want you to keep doing that. Okay. I also want you to redefine no. And then I want you
That
to,
feels big.
yeah.
I'm gonna write that down.
Yeah. I want you to see what was my thought? I want you to like in your brain, some of the ways you can see like redefine no is start practicing it in your mind. Again, like the brain doesn't know the difference of it really happening versus us imagining it in our mind. Okay. They've done studies on that. I've shared about that on other calls. So I want you to start imagining a scenario where you get told no and you don't die. Right? Like you just I didn't die. Look at that. So you get told no and you take it as a no for now or a no from this person, right? A no from a person doesn't necessarily mean a no from God. I used to struggle with being told no also. I took it as rejection. Like a no meant I wasn't good enough for you to say yes. So that was my struggle with that. And so learning that a no, especially like when I would ask a no from someone that really mattered to me and I really wanted them to tell me yes, I would just go, okay, they told me no, but that doesn't mean I can't have this same thing with another person. Like, for instance, maybe I wanted to hang out with someone and they told me no. Okay, that's a no for them. But heart, is there someone else you want to hang out with? Because that's a no from them. It's not a no across the board. Right? So like finding your ways where a no can actually be okay. Might not be fun, might not be what you wanted, but it's not the worst thing. Another way you could explore this is revisiting ways you were told no and it turned out for your good. Like maybe a guy turned you down or a guy didn't like you that you liked, and then 5 years later he's in prison. You're like, thank the Lord that worked out. Right? Do you know what I mean? Dodged a bullet there. Oh, I should show you a photo of the guy that I dodged a bullet with. Oh, it's bad. It's so bad. Oh, but like revisiting those places where you were told no, and now that you have hindsight, you can go, oh, that was actually a good thing I was told no. Like, I didn't get that job, and look, they fell apart 1 year later. I would have been jobless, or you know what I mean? Like all these ways that we get told no, we didn't pay attention long enough that, oh, that actually turned out to be in my favor, that it was a no. So when does that feel as big when I say like those are some of the ways you can redefine it? Okay.
Yeah, that feels really good. It feels like easier to not just feel rejection, but to see it for maybe what it actually is, the way that God sees it, which is
Right.
like, actually, that's not what I wanted for you. Or maybe you weren't supposed to be told no, but that wasn't a reflection of who you are.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And it was a no from them, right? Doesn't mean it's a no from God. That was a huge one for me. Oh, a no from this person doesn't mean a no from God. Like, I still might be able to get this thing that I want, and it just might have to come through another avenue. I need to go back to the Lord about that.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. No's are really hard for me. There's something else. Oh, let me see. I have some notes. Oh, the other thing you can do is any kind of spiritual effect. Do you want to just say a prayer right now around like that vow?
Oh,
Do
yeah.
you? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So just repeat after me. I'm going to call it that vow. Okay.
Okay.
Let me ask you this. When you made that vow, was there anything that came in with it? Was there anything that you felt like,
It was full of like anger and disgust.
okay. Yep. Thanks for that. Okay. Repeat after me. I nail anger and disgust to the cross where it belongs.
I nail anger and disgust to the cross where it belongs.
It has no place with me.
It has no place with me.
It doesn't help me make decisions.
It doesn't help me make decisions.
I renounce my vows.
I renounce my vows.
Does everybody see that video where Spencer like joked about the word renounce? It's the only time we ever use that word. It's in prayers like this. I crushed that. I crushed my vows. I say no to the vows that I said, however you want to say it. I break my agreement with that vow.
I break my agreement with that vow.
It did a poor job protecting me.
It did a poor job protecting me.
God, will you be my protector instead?
God, will you be my protector instead?
Remove everything attached to anger and disgust far from me now.
Remove everything attached to anger and disgust far from me right now.
And Father, what do you want to give me in its place?
And Father, what do you want to give me in its place?
And listen for a minute. See if you get anything.
I heard openness and the ability to choose.
Oh, do you hear that? Openness. Number one, you're not hiding. You're not having a lie. Number two, ability to choose, which to me reveals you think you've been chosen, but you haven't. You've been driven by something, and now you're not.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That is so good. Man, that's good. That's so good. Okay. So good.
Wow.
Good.
Wow. Thank you.
So fun. You
I
ladies
did
did
not expect
night.
that.
Oh, that was good. Okay. Oh, you ladies are amazing. Dude, I'm gonna be jacked up off this call for hours. I'm gonna go for a walk. So, I have some messages that I need to read. I want to read some of the chat. I just want to say thank you, ladies, for the encouragement. I don't see all of them, but I see most of them. I really thank you for when you make statements, and it's encouraging because I actually don't always know that what I'm doing is helping. So, so it's helpful. And then I want to pass this on to Maddie. You're gonna do your breakout rooms now. But I'm gonna hang out and read the chat for a minute, so you'll see me on here still.
Hi guys. Yay. Ugh, that was so good. I'd love just to see you guys wave if you related to it. Yeah, so good. Woo! So we're gonna do like an hour of breakout rooms, and I will not be in it. I'm gonna turn off my audio so I don't hear any of the call or any of y'all's breakout rooms. There's like time for community and time to share. But feel free to jump off if you don't want to do a breakout room. But I'm gonna turn off my video, turn off my mic while I like put you guys in a waiting room. It might take a second, but yeah, okay. And I'll message you guys like 5 minutes, 10 minutes before I'm gonna end the call. So have fun.